out to surprise. We're gonna see if they can do it again.
And people have been looking for EDG to start attacking the greatest strength of Gen.G, which has been their comfort. Their comfort on these specific champions. They ban away the Lee Sin. They're not letting Clid get it again. I love this adjustment here. A lot of it has come from playmaking, from jungling here for the early stages. And they still retain the Syndra ban against VDD. I like this, pushing it back down.
Yeah, so the one thing that was left open this time, though, is the Graves. We have seen Rascal play that, so...
Since they did not pick up a BDD champ, I expect EDG to ban them through here. Are you going to ban away the Zoe? Are you going to ban away the Azir? They don't. They're letting BDD still have at least one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I hope to see the last ban be the Zoe because, again, BDD is just way too good on that champion. On the opposite side, though, all the picks with agency that Scout can pick are now gone with the ban of the Rise, and even going to take away the Orianna for comfort. So Scout going to need to go down into the depths of his pool, and for Gen.G, you would assume they're going to fourth pick jungle, which means they're going to save counter pick for BDD, and there's not really a lot of good options to blind unless EDG themselves just want to say, hey, screw it, we're going to take an Azir.
Yeah, I mean, his Victor looked okay in the previous game. Like, I wasn't mad about it. I thought it looked fine. It just got to get the rest of it going. Actually going to be Poppy Ban on their own side, looking at what would be the next in the tier list of jungle picks. Certainly, she does look good into Jarvan, but it means they're not trying to take it for the top lane. Viego could come through.
Ooh, the Clid Viego.
Yeah.
Bring this one back out, and they do have the safety of Lulu already on the team, too, to allow some chase down forward. Definitely going to be very heavy into the AD, so BDD, as usual, is going to carry a lot of that AP threat, going to carry a lot of that burden, and they're hovering it now. Everybody in the whole game knows it. What are EDG going to do?
This would honestly surprise me. Wow, Scout has not played Zoe in Summer Split at all. Has steered clear from the pick. Was never really much of a meta pick in Summer, but still gonna go this route. And also, Kobe, something you were wondering earlier, if they would pull out the Kennen, they're gonna do it.
All right, now don't flunk this test because we've waited so long. You know, he was 0-3 previously on the Kennen. Now they pull it out finally here at Worlds. And they steal away BDD's Zoe, stealing away his champion. That's definitely bold. In an elimination game from EDG, they're throwing it down.
You bring out a pick that you haven't played in the Zoe, you bring out a pick that you haven't won on in the Kennen. This is a really different direction for EDG, but hey, again, they're down 2, they need to be up. On the side of Gen.G, though, I really like what they put together. Once again, a lot of comfort coming out with things like the Azir. You have tools to deal with things like the Kennen engaging, and it just looks stock and standard Gen.G.
That said, there is so little front line. Viego has no tank stats innately in that kit unless you reset. Okay, everyone on your team has damage, so you've had a Lulu for a bit of backup, but that is not a heavy frontline. Kennen has 5 great targets to look at.
Yeah, there's just so much pressure on Flandre's shoulders here. In the moment of truth, you know, finally making that change in Champ Select, the name and lights with the big Kennen ultimates so often at Worlds. we have had these memorable Kennen ultimates that just stick with you forever. He's going to be looking to cosplay Smeb here.
Yeah, I feel like a big difference also coming out of this game is not only in the top side, right, but also in mid-jungle. Because it feels like every game is where the side of Gen.G have had prio and pressure in mid-jungle, especially in that skirmishing department. This will be the first time where EDG themselves actually have that and will be the ones who can dictate more early game options. So whether that's trying to set up a Smeb-like performance coming out from Flandre, or just going back to the fact that, hey, Viper, despite some mistakes, has had an amazing series. Let's keep funneling on the spot side. It feels like this early game is where EDG are going to have to step up. If not, Gen.G are going to be able to clinch out the series. Yeah,
and it would be Gen.G's 4th World Championship final. Samsung White, Samsung Galaxy, Samsung Galaxy. You buy the company, you rebrand to Gen.G, and number 4 would be this one around.
And Ruler himself was on that Samsung team.
Yeah.
World champion, the only world champion in this game.
It'd be his 3rd final with a new roster around him for the last 2 years, 2020 and onwards. And let's see what comes out of this one. JJ faking as though he puts the deep ward down. Of course, you can never verify that, so may force an early sweep out of Clid and won't see anything for it.
Yeah, and looks like once again, potentially might see jungler's path down towards bot side. I feel like we've seen that pretty much every game this series is like we hit on before. Who can impact that bot lane first has really been what has been strong, but Gen.G instead actually looking for an invade.
All right, Scout going to be on the back foot. Should, I believe, just see that trinket ward. Spots, yep, puts the ping down for the vision. Sweeper not available, though, and we'll see what Gen.G wants to do with their early game.
Yeah, the jungle tracking from Gen.G in the previous game made such a big difference.
Are, in fact, back out of the rift, and yes, indeed. JJ outsmarted Clid. He faked the ward. Sweeper comes down. He's like, wait a second. There was no ward.
I've been had. Where's my ward money? My early experience for Rascal as well. Not going to get it. He is going to get the leash from his top laner, though. So Graves actually going to go late to the lane. Not going to get the early push onto Kennen. And it's going to be the accelerated start there for Clid, trying to get Viego through the early, quick first clear, headed towards bottom side. Every second does count.
And yet Bone Plating and Guardian block a lot of the damage, and it's once again, every single game, Lulu MF just has the better level 1, and EDG down in health. They are the ones with healing. You can kind of trade low and then burn mana to get back up, but right now it's Gen.G with control of the lane.
I want to see if they actually make use of the leash that Clid got. That second is going to mean he gets over there really quick. He went red into Raptors. He can do this super early move towards bottom. When you're building up the wave like this, if you see Ruler and Life now slow pushing and just last hitting and waiting for the minions to build up to try and crash, then they could draw him down after Gromp. It'd be a quick 3, but I think the time is running out, and they've already got a ward over Tribrush, so that play's not going to be there. They're going to try and crash it instead and probably bounce back. But it is still going to be Clid hovering around bottom side and looking for that bottom crab. With the bottom pushing, you have the early move.
Nice aggressive trade in the top side. Now don't forget to grab your exclusive Happiness Overload Prime Gaming emote so you can flex in your next game. Maybe you get a bear, maybe you get an ace. I don't know, put it on all 5 slots, who cares?
Well, I mean, looks extremely cute. I'd want it, but Clid going in. Scout can follow up.
Yeah, it's a Spell Thief Shirelli is not going to matter too much, though, still fighting over these. Smite is up for both junglers. You put it in the brush, you can kind of take the advantage. And it looks like it's still going to be with the wave pushed in. Oh, that bubble could mean a lot. Yeah, they can find the knockup if the spells are back available. Find at least an auto attack going in for Clid. Here's it going to be enough as it's Azir coming in, the Emperor, and the first kill comes in. And now JJ going to fight for a bit more. Does trade it back. Is it going to be enough? He's channeling to teleport away. He's going to go to sleep. Oh! Scout makes his double kill happen.
And this is what you need when you bring out the Zoe and the Jarvan for yourself to be able to take these early game skirmishes. Scout the MVP of LPL Finals with a 2-0 lead in this game.
Oh my god, where do we start with it, Lyric? That one was hilarious. The Raptor fight here in the elimination match with the teleport right in front of his face. Whew.
I mean, hey, Gen.G can make those sort of plays because they don't have their back against the wall with that pressure of, hey, if we lose, we're out. We're going to go straight to the replay. Bubble does come down after an extended posturing over those Raptors. JJ holding on to the EQ. Not actually sure if it was even up.
So I'm pretty sure his Q was just used in the Raptor fight there. Good flash for him to get away from the other one here, but Bubble timer has come back up, and Scott says thanks for the champion and thanks for the timing. Very close to timing out there.
Yeah, even gets the teleport for himself. BDD not showing a ton of expression to that happening. Then again, you probably just want to forget it and move on and hope for a better return into the game. Now, we're going to come back onto the map where both junglers just chilling. I feel like for EDG, though, it's a lot about continuing to impact that mid and jungle matchup like we just saw.
Yeah, and both kills went over to Scout. This has huge effects on this early game here. I mean, EDG, they put down a flag in Champ Select. We're stealing away your Zoe, BDD. We're stealing away, or we're picking the Kennen, which we have not picked at Worlds, and we were 0-3 with this year. And they've got 2 kills on that steal away pick for Scout. So a lot of it in his hands, double buff in addition to it.
Finds another bubble as well, getting some good damage on, again, a champion that he did not play in the summer split of LPL, in a composition where, frankly, I feel like the longer this game goes, it will be much harder for EDG. There will be opportunities, like we talked about, things like Kennen flanks and these burst opportunities, but EDG definitely being the composition that needs to get ahead early, and I like that we see Scout kind of hovering towards the bottom side, looking to utilize Fog of War, though Gen.G do have Scuttle Crab on that side, so it doesn't do too much.
Decent shot onto life. Good hits there to 200 HP. Bubble not quite going to land, but a little bit more poke as JJ could come around. Level 4 to level 5 on the Viego. But of course, no TPs and no one's around on the side. This could be a possible dive. That ward's going to be spotted and killed, and Gen.G going to have to give up this wave.
Yeah, they're going to have to give up a lot here because Scout also pushed mid lane. And BDD, since he tried to teleport out of the skirmish at Raptors, doesn't have his teleport. So Scout gets to come down there supporting this attempt at the steal away on the Gromp, does get the smite, and the turret plate is going to be mined away. Now they can reset. You see you just play off your pressure from your minion wave towards mid. That one bounces back as BDD slowly pushes it out, and Scout can return.
I think a critical thing about this game as well is when you watched EDG in the regular season of LPL is...
That was nice.
Yeah, just a bit of damage. A lot of EDG's early game jungle proximity was around mid lane. It was all about Scout and JJ being like the early game anchor that did link up, and then transferring that 2 sides of the map once we got to mid game, or covering if dives were coming out per se on top lane. So nice to see this synergy coming back out in this game 4.
And that skirmish at Raptors on the first blood came down to 1 auto on the junglers, being the difference in the health. Scout here, kind of cosplaying the most interesting man in the world. I don't often play Zoe, but when I do, I like to start 2-0 with double buffs. See what he can do with it. Again, the big moments here are really what make it. They've got to be able to snowball this one. It's such a large early game lead for them to be able to transition. Yes, it is a Cloud Drake, and they should be able to hand off blue and head over towards there. Now Zoe with blue and with the gold, plus having double summoners available, feels like they should be able to set it up.
Flandre playing aggressively in this lane, even though he is against the Vamp Scepter and Rascal has some sustain. It's Flandre ahead in the lane so far.
And again, we are about 36 seconds away from the Herald spawn, so the big commitment should come. When you have pushing bottom lane, it helps you. You have so many more options in these Herald setups because you can either push and go for the full rotation, bring your bottom lane up, or you go for the half rotation through the Fog of War, and then try and sneak back and not give up as many minions in the attempt. See if they actually go for it here, though. Clid trying to do the early sweeper work in preparation, and the bubble lands, but no follow-up.
Gonna take the recall. JJ finds the control that was put down. Uh-oh, gonna be spotted out. Just sidesteps. Clid, once again, the better on farm, already level 6. Graves on the move down as well. Could be a chance at a play, but just gonna turn right back around. Not too much to be had. Flandre waiting the brush. Could get some decent damage. Doesn't go for the ult play. Rascal able to E backwards and ult to stay alive. No problem. BDD jumps to the wall to get away as well. JJ with a control ward gets to take ownership of this side of the map.
We are finally starting to see that rotation that Kobe was talking about, though, waiting for a couple more waves to start the rotation. Viper and Mako making their way up. And with the early game spike that Scout does have, having the Lost Chapter now, I would definitely favor EDG in this sort of situation. You can even see now Scout playing with terrain, just in case the members of Gen.G do approach.
All right, the attacks are on, down to 2.6 thousand. A small smite's available. Clid has the big one, but it's going to be pushed down too quickly. The bot lane's here just in case. No play.
Gen.G committed to the trail, even though their bottom lane was the one without priority. Usually, you'll see them just opt to pushing out the extra wave, you know, so the AD carry at least gets another wave of experience, gold there, try and chip away at a tower plate, but Gen.G actually rotated also in answer in trailing Ruler and Life, so they don't get anything out of there, and that's big for EDG.
Gonna be stunned, gonna be locked up. This is so much damage. The ult comes in, the flash followed through with the Heartbreaker, and Clit is on the board.
Yeah, really nice play coming out from Gen.G. Maybe Flandre assuming that Clit would want to make his way towards bot side with the fact that their bot lane was late on the rotation, trying to get some vision down for Dragon, but instead does commit to getting this in top. And Rascal as well, not only denying minions, but getting another plate of gold. Actually, his first plate of gold.
Still more than 0, so I'll take it as a +1, and now Tidal Wave coming across, big damage, the bubble's gonna land as well. BDD, he's ignited, he's got a shield, and he's just gonna drop Scouts on for 3.
Scout steals away one of his champions, and he's stealing away his life here. 3 kills on the Zoe for Scout now. Bounty on his head. They're the ones that get to play the setup game with the Zoe. Extra vision already achieved here. And now, that was definitely a brush with death there. Bold to go solo as the Lulu getting some vision, but because EDG are so focused on utilizing their Rift Herald and getting paid here, they're going to be able to make it happen.
Not quite going to finish the turret, but it will get all the way to 4 plates claimed, 3 of them shared between Gen.G and Scout. The TP force out of BDD means not a lot of control for bot lane. Thankfully, Bullet Time can do that work for you, and Ruler keeps up in the lane.
I can't even imagine the gold lead that Scout has right now. Probably able to back and just look for a mythic item purchase after the last kill, as well as these plates coming out. Not going to be able to, though. Sadly, doesn't even have TP. Going to have to wait for either Gen.G to come cover, or if Gen.G just committed this play, maybe he can find a window to where he can get that reset off, because he has no mana right now, so I don't think EDG should look to contest this, but they are.
Without Scout, that'd be crazy. Yeah, you cannot poke around there. Scout is recalling, no teleport on Zoe.
Yeah. I mean,
I agree with you. I concur.
I don't think it'd be the craziest thing we've seen in this series, so I'm not going to put it against them for doing it, but yeah, nice to see that EDG did decide to back off. Already do have a 2K gold lead at 10 minutes, but again, to me, it's just continuously coming out from mid-jungle. I don't even feel like you necessarily need to commit ganks. BDD as well having flash up now. Even with Gen.G just hovering towards mid, you can go for plays like we saw earlier, where Scout's moving down the river and at least just zoning their bot lane off from the turret.
CS lead is 8 down in the bottom lane, though, and they are just constantly playing aggressively. Viper going to go ahead and take this wave right away. And they'll give him a very aggressive recall timing that happens, thanks to the assist. We've got the Gorge Drinker done. And even though Clit has been out farming Gen.G, he's got enough gold that he's able to get his Mythic online. First of this game, but not in time to play for the Dragon. So Gen.G, they're weathering a 2,500 gold deficit, and that's going to grow. They've at least got their first Dragon, but because he showed, he's like, all right, I'm around. Once again, Ruler and Life have to fall off the wave, and plate number 3 will go to Viper and Mako.
Yeah, this Lucian Nami doing a lot of damage once again, and Viper's going to be that big threat. A lot is hinged on his positioning and his movement. In some of the games, when he's going so aggressively, you know, chunking people out before objectives, it actually earns them a huge amount for the setup. But again, then you have the ones where picked off, gets turned around on him. I will say, at least for this time around, it's more difficult for Gen.G to really punish aggressive movement because it has to be a surprise play from BDD.
There's the swoop on back, flashing back over, will not be stunned up by Viego, but he's going to go to sleep. Are they going to go for this play? Gen.G would have every cooldown, but they don't want to go for the push. Maybe they could have, but not going to happen.
Yeah, still nice for them to be able to punish the flash coming out from Scout. They need to find these ways back into the game somehow, especially when Kobe just talking about the aggression coming out from EDG's bot lane and how hard it is for Gen.G to punish. Nice to see BDD set something up once again.
Yeah, let's see, because Scout does have the bounty on his head as well for the extra money. Now doesn't have flash. With the Summoner Spellbook, moves over to Ghost. Maybe we'll be able to use the extra speed to remain safe and not let the follow-up play here from Gen.G actually find purchase. But again, because of the setup here from Gen.G, they're so DPS oriented and don't have a lot of those big moments. Since BDD just used the ultimate, kind of got to wait on some cooldowns here.
I feel like for Gen.G, you do have one play available to where I highlighted for EDG, right? You can hover mid-jungle down to bot. For Gen.G, they at least do have TP advantage up in the top lane. So as long as you can have BDD like hovering down towards bot to match either roam or a TP from Scout, you can try and set up a numbers advantage play. The only hard thing is that Viper and Mako are hard shoving the wave. So for Ruler and Life to be able to get a deep board for a flank to come out from Rascal would be quite hard.
Yeah, also, The flank is very, very improbable. Being able to set up at, okay, never mind. Bottom thing is gonna just be some more harassment from the ultimate, and Bubble not landing means they won't actually find any purchase.
But getting a bit of damage done, plates have finally dropped, and it's a 2.4 thousand gold lead to EDG. That's when I kind of call the early game over, and you move into mid-game as you can't farm turrets for killing them outright anymore. And look at this, Jarvan's on the way over. Azir and Viego, they're on the way first, an early TP. They're going for the quick dive. It's gonna be a bit of a 4v2. Ruler cannot get away with the Gale Force. The flashes out. Life flashes won't matter. And it's gonna be him dropping. Scout wants a bit more. I believe he lands the bubble, but it's not gonna get anything else done as they are gonna be back down to the turret. They're gonna knock down the first turret of the game. EDG aggressive in the bottom lane.
Really nice to see from EDG looking to make that play. Even on the top side, Flange was following Rascal to make sure that he couldn't TP down there to follow up, and EDG are starting to open up the map.
Exactly, EDG beat them to the punch. They make the dive happen, taking down the outer turret, pushing it ahead. Bottom, or top side is the answer though, as it's just gonna be shoving him out and picking up Rift Herald.
He almost pretended like they were going for the gank. They're just getting the Herald instead. Theoretically, Flounder could have stolen his ground, maybe, you know, ulted onto the turret and clear the whole thing out, but Rascal makes the aggressive play, knows he has the backup. It's going to be a longer fight, and that means it's going to be a turret traded and the second Herald going back over to Gen.G. So definitely fighting back, but a 3,000 gold lead to EDG off the early game.
Yeah, and overall, the trade can end up being about even, right? Because for now, it's 2 turrets to EDG for 1 for Gen.G. You would assume that Herald maybe can find some purchase raising a tower somewhere else, so Gen.G not falling too far behind necessarily, but where they did lose out is like Ruler and Life going down, at least Life dying in that exchange, losing out on minions and getting more XP and gold onto Viper.
And now with those 2 plays traded, and I think it's very intelligent for EDG to kind of force on the bottom side and then force those objectives to go down. Weathering the storm and actually having that cooldown now for Flandre's teleport to come up and being able to match that critical one for top lane. Now it's a level 11 Kennen that is also going to have Flash available for the big possible Kennen ultimates we are alluding to in Champ Select. And it's also going to be the dodge actually on the other foot here for Gen.G. They've done so well with mid lane tower down and them having the Zoe. Now it's EDG with the Zoe and them having all the opportunity to work with. They just want to stall here for Flandre to get as much damage on top side as he can. His teleport is ready, his flash is ready.
All right, but he's just autoing the turret right now, so what's the call going to be, EDG? If you keep playing this one, you can be outnumbered. You already are. It's 5v4, 2,000 health on the Dragon. Smites have gone Clid's way, and they will yet again. He still doesn't miss. The TP comes in to take the fight. The dunk comes in. Clid won't find the kill just yet, and it's a swoop in. That's a 1, but the slicing Maelstrom turns it back. 3 kills so far. Kennen gonna make it a 4th, and look at that. EDG get the team fight they want.
Exactly, EDG might not get the objective, but they get the kills. They continue to escalate this gold lead. Gen.G being the one to set it up, and Scout and Viper following through.
5 kills now for Scouts. Zoe stealing away the champion just when they need it. Game 4 here, looking to push it to game number 5. Still, Clid has been so good with these timings on the smite, but look at the engage. JJ goes in, flash ultimate. They're able to land it. Scout backs up for the bubble onto BDD, so even though he gets his ulti off, and then Flandre, that Kennen ultimate on all those squishy targets.
Yeah, really nice patience coming out for him. I do want to say in this fight, I was a bit scared that BDD wasn't going to be punished for being about 10% HP. Thank God Scout Portal jumped in there and finished him off. And now we're at 5K gold lead. I feel like despite the fact that a lot of people know these teams as like slower paced teams, especially in regards to the regions they play in, again, we see that later on in the game. Both of these teams are going to be aggressive, go toe-to-toe in the first 15 minutes, as we've seen a large gold lead almost every game.
Pushing for more. Waiting now, of course, 2 minutes till the Baron comes up. Dragon Soul can always be a concern since Gen.G got the first 2 and reasonably early on into this one would be well sub 30 minutes if they are able to get the next ones up. Ocean Soul, definitely not a bad look when you're trying to weather some poke. Rascal feels pretty good here up against Flandre. Merc treads are done, stacking in the life, still going to be Bloodthirster second, and that can be tough to deal with. JJ going to bring in the reinforcements though, and top lane outer is to die. Flandre did the first part of the work, and Scout's going to do the rest.
EDG with a really nice 2-lane setup so far, just hovering through mid, going up to top side. Now, once Scout gets his turret, he can even make his way back down, trying to put bubbles over those walls around mid lane if Ruler and Life step up, and kind of play this push and pull between both top and mid. Gen.G potentially could have tried to answer bottom lane earlier on, but feeling too much pressure coming out from the long range and siege from the Zoe. So Clid, though, is in a bit of a spicy position.
They'll almost kill, but as long as the reinforcements show up, they can do the rest of the damage. Bot lane already getting attacked and killed. Rascal gonna claim that turret, making the score 2-3, and the mid lane crash at least gets something done. I think he had more time, but he gets the damage in, at least that's something, and the turret's gonna be low in mid.
Yeah, I think he knew it's going to be difficult for them to actually regain control of the map since Gen.G, since EDG made such a big push with these deep wards on top side and pushing in and split pushing. So just wanted to get the activation while he could secure damage on the tower. Maybe they can return to it at a later date. They did at least get Rascal's push in. They've really struggled to make use of that, you know, teleport advantage for Rascal though when they've had it with the Graves. Not
Instead of
necessarily
like 10 minutes.
It's like not necessarily a very big flanking impact when you come in and can you like smoke screen sometimes can create some plays, but
you need the other team to overcommit, right? That's really the only way you can punish.
yeah, and try and spread the map and make use of the tons of damage that this team does have packed in, and try and push out the minion waves.
Now for Gen.G, it seems like they're kind of following the game plan of EDG from last time around of just turtling in their own base, not overcommitting too much. And heck, even lucky for them, they're the team with 2 dragons. So EDG not on a front where they're going to be able to pull them out, but Rift Herald, actually not Rift Herald, Baron is spawning.
Yeah, and again, this time around, EDG feels so confident. They've got the Zoe, 5 kills, 2 item power spikes, 7 stacks on the Dark Seal, 4 Scout, fully warded up jungle. It is just a dream scenario to play this champion. So dangerous for Gen.G. Thank you, observers, for toggling Fog of War. So much of this series, we've been like, oh, how scary is it to play against VDD Zoe with no vision coverage and objective up? Well, guess what? You get a taste of your own medicine here as EDG pushing on top side. The counter, though, to go capitalize on that early Rift Herald.
And can they be attacked, though? Flandre, of course, is here. Rocket Belt is done. Going to be second item. Void Staff will certainly be lethal, and they're not going to stick around for the turret as the rest of EDG were walking down. A lot of this is fog. They can't see all the moves. Rascal going to be able to sidestep the bubble. No sleep for him, and just life steals all the way back up as he's got Shield Bow plus the Vamp Scepter.
All right, now we're going to be looking at the Dragon setup coming out for both teams. EDG should be able to get members down there first from the fact that Rascal is pushing out this top side. He does have TP. Clid should be fine.
Yep, Blast Blunt is there. Rocket Belt burned. It's going to be down for the eventual Dragon fight, and Clid just has not been kept out of these pits. I feel like EDG have to take a hard stance at fighting because they're going to lose the Dragon if they don't, kill Clid before it's low.
Ooh, maybe. Nope, no bubble connecting from Scowl, but Gen.G, again, they're going to need to mark the flank. They need to watch out for Flandre, who does have flash up, so doesn't even necessarily need to find the flank. Can go straight into Gen.G.
Can wait for the Rocket Belt. It's still going to be on cooldown for now. Starting the auto attacks, but they're inside the brush with a control within it, so there's no vision on the Gen.G side. Scout coming down on his own ward, though. He's going to push Gen.G back a little bit. Bubble's not going to land. Once again, aggroed onto the Dragon. 5,000 health. Clid waiting on the left-hand side. BD trying to find his opponent. Scout going to look for poke. Not going to get it just yet. Bubble may have landed onto the Graves, but Clid's still waiting. Clid's landed every smite in this series. Clid's going to try again, and Clid's going to get it again. Once again, and it's soul point for Gen.G. EDG cannot even team fight with a gold lead. BDD goes in, and so does Flandre. 2 for 1 so far. Rascal low. Clid should drop. Cannot get the reset. Ascended to Rascal. 3 alive versus 2, but 1 kill for soul point feels Gen.G favored until they get this one. That kill's gonna go through to EDG. +2 on the team fight, but you have to take control or you lose the Dragon Soul.
Exactly. EDG, I think, need to turn for Baron. They need to get something for this. We do see pings coming out on the Baron now, and if EDG can get that objective, they can try to tangibly turn this into enough map control to end the game.
Yeah, definitely a big chase down kill for EDG. It's going to be up to Ruler and Life to hold the line. I think with the recalls or the revivals coming up for the rest of the members, it'll be fine for them. They can just wait it out until the next Dragon. But Lyric, I thought that Gen.G, as soon as they got that steal and you saw the backup from EDG, they were going to just take the W, take the steal, and back out. But then they go all in and they engage for it. So Clid, another huge smite, even forces JJ out of the pit with the flash, and then the opening here, and BDD just goes right for it, but good dodge there from Viper.
Yeah, I think that's so weird coming out. I think even Clid initially going in with the Viego makes sense, but following up with BDD,
yeah,
like you are at soul point, Kobe. That's all you needed.
Exactly. Take the W that you just got. You just stole the Dragon with the smite. You know that the counter engage is so much more fearsome with Kennen ultimate. So when you're calculating all the big ultimates on your side, taking into account what the counter is going to look like, and when Flandre gets to sweep in, much squishier there for BDD.
I also feel like now EDG are at the point where they're probably going to have to look to start baiting Barons. Because even if you do continuously get good setups for Dragons, right, there's still always at least going to be some sort of variance or RNG of Clid getting in there and winning the Smite, which he's done consistently. The good thing for EDG, if they are willing to be more aggressive in baiting a Baron, is their composition actually does have good turn potential with things like the Jarvan or the Nami ultimate.
And any extra time they have for Scout to throw bubbles is going to be a good time for EDG. He's got 17 stacks in his Medjais after those last kills at the Dragon fight.
So when's the play going to happen? When does the Baron bait truly begin? Right now they're just kind of fighting back and forth over vision. Viper did a lot of damage in that last fight. Flutter put in 3K, but Viper did even more. He has been a huge deal once again on the same build of Rapid Fire Cannon third, allowing him to play aggressively and look for almost picks in the mid game.
EDG now even do have wards set up to where if they did want to try and bait them into this vision, like they're trying to do now, Flandre would have a really good angle to come from. But Gen.G just aren't biting.
Down goes the ward, and not going to be any poke just yet, but it's, once again, as you play for this, you take the midway first, you make sure they can't counter your turrets, looking for the play. They might find the sleep, they might find a knock-up on a 2, into the canyon they go, and Clid able to jump over the wall, but this could be it for the cannon. Able to force a couple of flashes out, a stun, and almost dead. Sidestepping it, but BDD finds the long-range shot, Zoe not required. It's Gen.G who win this fight.
And EDG are just getting so ahead of themselves looking for this play. Again, you could tell that they want Gen.G to walk in, but Gen.G are just playing it well. They realize, hey, we don't need to walk into you, we're fine. You're gonna come into us, and they find the kill.
Every EDG fan is pulling their hair out right now, Lyric. So close and yet so far. They make the chase into the fog of war. Cannon gets burned down, and Gen.G are able to stabilize.
I think the strangest thing is, right, they're showing that they're not willing to go on the Baron and try and like risk that, but they're willing to go for the risk of this play of just running head first into Gen.G. It starts off looking pretty well, with Gen.G getting a multi-man knock-up. The culling does get BDD down quite low, but now they just have no way to continue following up. Flandre going a bit too far, doesn't have flash to try and follow them over the wall to maybe take down Clid and BDD, and just get chunked so low by both Rascal and Ruler.
Yeah, if the Nami wave was a little bit to the side, the Graves ultimate also a little bit to the side. They still got the kill though. Again, this series, you cannot count anybody out, okay?
Nope.
Yeah, it definitely feels like maybe the teams with advantages have maybe been the ones that you can't completely rely on when things happen.
The one they can rely on, though, is Clid's Smite, and this is Ocean Soul in 30 seconds. A 5,000 gold lead dictates that EDG should have complete control, and yet they never find a way to keep Clid out of the pit. Right now, they try to own the bottom river. They can spot roughly where Viego is. They see him on the wave. They know what's going on. Maybe they take the fight, but bullet time is available. Make It Rain slows them down. Gen.G gonna play in these brushes. They've got control wards in most of them. EDG had the dragon spawning in 1 second. Will they find a team fight is the question. It's Viper coming in, taking some damage, a really good culling. Rascal could be a target. Asleep on a Clid, not going to mean much, but Ruler's at half. Jijja doesn't find the engage. He's going to find his own death, a flash to safety. And now Rascal wants in for a bit more. Has an ult, the flash means nothing. Takes a bubble, but the health bars are at half. EDG got to burn down this Drake. And Gen.G may just go for the bot side. Flandre gonna stay in the brush, gonna find his ulti to zone out Clid, and force him to jump over the wall. They might find this kill, but they might find Cannon dying. It's gonna be a dragon picked up. It's Scout getting the sleep, getting the first kill, and they might, they should, and they do get Ruler. The dunk onto life, 3 for nothing.
They've done it! EDG have done it! They finally marked Clid! They got him! They're chasing down all of the kills!
And BDD is at 15%! He's gonna get blasted and he's gonna die! Rascal left alone! EDG win the team fight, Baron has to be their prize!
Exactly, EDG just need to keep going forward. They were patient, it looked dicey, but they got the dragon because Flandre waited in that tri-brush. He makes sure Clid couldn't get into the pit, and now EDG are finally taking everything after a rocky past few minutes.
Oh, should be big rewards now. The pressure mounting for so long on that one with the setup. You know, so many big chunks in health. Flash used to try and re-engage and trying to keep the cannon out, but in the end, Flandre got the last laugh.
And Scout got a lot of the early poke as well. I mean, Ruler started that fight at half. You know, BDD got quite low as well. It's a 25 stack mid-shies for the mid laner. Let's watch this win again.
And we see Flandre being the one to mark Clid here in the brush. Does get so much damage down on him, keeping him out of the pit while the other EDG members follow up. Even does flash back in to try to keep him down. Then Scout over the side, Paddle Star, Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Everything's hitting today for Scout. And then EDG knowing they can just continuously follow up with all the damage. And man, this game has just kept us on the edge of our seats. It feels like anything can happen at any time.
That's just really nice. I mean, Scout, he got a little bit out of, I believe it was Mako, but realistically, solo killed BDD while at half health to start. There's your 5,500 damage for Scout. Yes, indeed. Second longest standing member on the team. Pretty much his entire career has been on EDG. And he's going for his first World Final. They got to win 2 straight to do it at this point, but they are so well poised to take Game 4.
Yeah, the LPL lives on. EDG aren't quite done with this series yet. Baron Buff will be able to get topside turret for sure. Inhibitor now going to be exposed, and Gen.G trying to clear out the wave, push them out, but it's going to be so difficult. Again, engaging into it. Got Kennen ultimate, level 16 there for Flandre. Proto Belt used.
BDD has dropped low enough that there's no team fight for Gen.G. A 10,000 gold lead. The Red Bull Baron power play at 2,700. EDG likely to claim mid here as well.
EDG now just going to rotate, play the map, right? They have a mid-wave pushing. Just push that one in. Keep utilizing your siege with the Zoe bubbles over the wall. Maybe look for an angle if Flandre can find a way in. If Gen.G try to stop your siege and look for an engage. And just by the book so far for EDG.
How much whip clear do you have? BDD at half health again. Rapid Fire Cannon Lucian with an Omni buff. Pretty decent damage on the double shot. And once again, he's gonna be forced back to heal. No, he's gotta stay around. It's bullet time to clear. A sleep on Lulu will not get them a kill, but it's still gonna create some space. The turret at about half HP. That's another sleep on Lulu, but Scout's out of cooldowns. Tidal wave to try to push them off. They've got just the cannon. Not gonna mean a whole lot here.
Cannon buffed up still. Gonna have another 30 seconds. One extra wave comes down mid lane. This will be the last one before the Baron buff does fire.
My, that is damage. Thank you very much. Cannon and Scout come together. That's gonna be mid lane turret falling as well, and you don't really defend this 5v4. You give the inhibitor for sure. The question is, what else are you going to lose? All the way back in the fountain goes BDD, and it's time to go for the Nexus turrets. They've got double cannon, they got a whole wave, they got a 5v4. It's a jump in. Scout is legendary. Looking for the dive onto the Nexus turrets now as Clid is low. Rassel trying to stay alive, and here comes the last final dive. Slicing Maelstrom, cuts Gen.G to pieces. BDD tries his hardest, finds nothing. The ace comes through for Gen.G. We've had an exciting set of semifinals. We're going to Game 5. EDG in their first semi. They'd like it to be their first final as well.
Exactly, EDG keeping their hopes alive by bringing us to 5 games. Star-studded lineup. We've been looking for members like Viper and Scout to have the same performances that they had in the LPL here on the international stage. And this